Chosen ones, there is a storm brewing right now, and for the first time in a very long time, that storm is not coming for you. That storm is coming for the person who tried to destroy your name. Someone out there, someone you may not even know, has decided to pull back the curtain on every single lie that was ever told about you. They have found the receipts, they have found the proof. And the person who spent all this time pointing fingers at you, dragging your name through the mud, making you look like the villain in a story where they were the true monster, that person is absolutely losing their mind right now. They do not want to hear it. They are covering their ears like a child caught stealing from the cookie jar. But guess what? The truth does not care if they want to hear it or not. The truth is coming out. And everything they built on lies is about to crumble like a house of cards in a hurricane. So sit down, get comfortable, because what I am about to tell you is going to validate every single thing you have suspected in your gut for years. This story begins with a lie. Actually, it begins with many lies. Lies told about you, lies about your character, lies about your morality, lies about money, someone from your past, an ex, a former friend, a person you trusted, has been running their mouth. They have been telling anyone who will listen that you did something terrible. They painted this elaborate picture of you as someone who cannot be trusted, someone who is sneaky, someone who hid things, burned evidence, made money disappear. They said you were the problem. They said you were the reason everything fell apart. And for a while people believed them, because this person, they are good at playing the victim. They have perfected the art of crying on cue. They know exactly how to manipulate emotions. They walk into a room and suddenly everyone feels sorry for them. Poor thing, look what that terrible person did to them. Can you believe it? But here is the thing about lies. They require maintenance. They require constant upkeep. One lie leads to another lie, which leads to another lie. And eventually the person telling those lies cannot even remember what the original truth was. They get sloppy. They get comfortable. They start believing their own nonsense. And that is exactly when the universe sends in a reckoning. Someone showed up, and this someone is not on your team. They are not your friend. They do not even know you. This person exists in the same circle as your ex. Maybe they work together. Maybe they run in the same social circles. But this person looked at your ex one day and thought, something does not add up here. The story they keep telling does not make sense. The numbers are not adding up. The timeline is wrong. And instead of just shrugging it off like most people would, this person decided to dig. They decided to investigate. They pulled threads. They asked questions. They went looking for evidence. And chosen one, they found it. The evidence exists. The proof is real. Everything your ex said about you, burning evidence, hiding information, being the one who was dishonest, it is completely and totally backwards. The truth shows that your ex was the one burning evidence. Your ex was the one hiding things. Your ex was the one who committed acts that could have serious consequences. We are talking about things that could result in legal trouble, things that could result in prison time, things that are not small misunderstandings, but calculated, intentional deception designed to make you take the fall for their crimes. And now this person, this stranger, who decided to become an accidental hero in your story, has found the recordings. They have found the paper trail. They have found the digital footprint that your ex thought they had erased. And guess what? They are not keeping it to themselves. They have already started sharing this information. They have already started setting the record straight. And your ex is having an absolute meltdown. Picture this. Your ex is sitting there, probably surrounded by people they have been lying to for months, maybe years, and suddenly someone walks up with the recording. Someone walks up with screenshots. Someone walks up with bank statements that tell a completely different story than the one your ex has been spinning. The person exposing them does not even flinch. They press play, they show the receipts, they lay it all out on the table, and your ex immediately goes into panic mode. They try to flip a table, but it is too heavy. They are standing there looking ridiculous, pants sagging, face red, completely exposed. They are screaming that this is not true. They are saying they do not need to see the evidence because they already know it is fake. They are doing everything except actually looking at the proof because they know what that proof will show. This is what I call crashing out. And chosen one, your ex is crashing out in spectacular fashion. Let me tell you something about people who build their entire identity on lies. When those lies get exposed, they do not have a foundation to stand on anymore. Everything they presented to the world was fake. The victim persona, fake. The story about being wronged, fake. The tears and the sad expressions and the poor me attitude. All of it was a performance designed to manipulate everyone around them while you suffered in silence. Speaking of suffering in silence, let us talk about that, because the evidence being uncovered does not just show that your ex lied about money, it shows the full picture of what you went through. There were recordings, there were messages, there was a trail of breadcrumbs that showed exactly how you were treated in that relationship or that friendship. And chosen one, what those recordings show is that you were not the abuser. They were. The things they accused you of, they were actually doing those things to you. The manipulation, the control, the isolation, the emotional warfare, that was all coming from their side, and now there is proof. Imagine how embarrassing this must be for them. For years they walked around telling everyone who would listen that you were the bad guy. They probably even convinced some of your mutual friends. They probably turned family members against you. They sat there accepting sympathy and support while you were left wondering why everyone suddenly looked at you differently. They enjoyed watching you lose people. They enjoyed being the center of attention while you picked up the pieces of your shattered reputation. And now everyone is going to find out that they were the snake the whole time. The person who uncovered all of this is fascinating because they did not do it for you. They did not even do it because they particularly care about justice in some abstract way. They did it because they genuinely cannot stand your exing. They work with them or exist near them in some capacity, and they have watched this person walk around acting like they are some kind of authority figure, acting like they are emotionally mature, acting like they are the reasonable one in every situation. And this investigator, this accidental hero, looked at that facade and thought, I am going to prove what a fraud this person really is. There is something almost poetic about the fact that your vindication is coming through someone who does not even like you or dislike you. They are neutral. They do not have a horse in this race beyond exposing a liar. They saw the inconsistencies in your ex's story. They noticed that the math did not add up, and because they have skills, because they pay attention to details, because they refuse to let something go once they have locked onto it, they dug until they found gold. Your ex is currently in denial mode. When confronted with the evidence, they did not apologize. They did not admit anything. They did not even try to explain themselves. They simply said they do not want to hear it. They refused to watch the recordings. They refused to look at the documents. They stuck their fingers in their ears like a toddler and said, no, this is not real, because acknowledging the evidence means acknowledging that their entire house of cards is collapsing. It means admitting that they are not the victim. It means facing the fact that consequences are finally coming for them. And consequences are definitely coming. The evidence has not just been shared among mutual connections, it has been passed along to people who can actually do something about it. We are talking about authorities, we are talking about legal systems, we are talking about the kind of institutions that do not care about crocodile tears or victim performances. They care about facts, they care about documentation, they care about proof, and there is plenty of proof now. Your ex thought they were clever. They thought that by destroying certain documents, by deleting certain messages, by covering their tracks in all the ways they could think of, they had protected themselves. They thought the evidence was gone forever, but they made a critical error. They underestimated the digital age. They underestimated the fact that things live on servers and backups and places they never even considered. They underestimated the determination of someone who smelled something rotten and refused to let it go. Here is what makes this even more satisfying. Your ex has been walking around acting like they are untouchable. They have been boasting, they have been bragging, they have been telling anyone who will listen about how they got over on you, how they made you look bad while they came out smelling like roses. They thought they had won. They thought this was their triumph. And the whole time, the walls were closing in. The whole time, someone was collecting evidence. The whole time, their downfall was being meticulously prepared. When the exposure happened, your ex tried every manipulation tactic in their arsenal. First, they denied it outright. Then they tried to make the person who exposed them look like the crazy one. They called them a hater. They said this person was just jealous. They said this person had an agenda. But the evidence speaks for itself. Recordings cannot be argued with. Paper trails cannot be explained away. Bank statements do not lie. And the more your ex tried to spin this, the worse they looked. The person exposing them did not back down. When your ex tried to intimidate them, they stood firm. When your ex tried to threaten them, they laughed. Because this person is made of different material than the people your ex is used to manipulating. This person does not get scared of confrontation. This person says what they mean and means what they say. This person looked your ex dead in the face and said, "I do not like you, I have never liked you, and now everyone is going to know why." There is a beautiful symmetry happening here. For so long you were painted as the villain in someone else's story. People looked at you sideways because of the lies that were spread. Your reputation took hits that you did not deserve, and now the real villain is being exposed, not by you, not by anything you did, but by the natural unfolding of truth that always, always, always eventually comes to light. Your ex is trying to play the depression card now. They are trying to make people feel sorry for them. They are acting like this exposure is destroying their mental health. And look, mental health matters. But here is what does not get to happen. What does not get to happen is someone using mental health as a shield to avoid accountability for real harm they caused. What does not get to happen is someone pretending to be fragile after they spent years being calculating and cruel. Your ex knew exactly what they were doing when they set you up. They were not in some kind of fugue state. They were making deliberate choices to hurt you and protect themselves. And now they want sympathy? No. That is not how this works. The truth is coming out about the money situation too. Because at the core of many of these lies was something financial. Your ex told people that you stole from them, that you ran up bills, that you were irresponsible or dishonest with shared finances. They painted themselves as the victim of your financial misdeeds. But the evidence shows the exact opposite. The evidence shows that they were the ones committing financial deception. They were the ones hiding money, spending money, doing things with money that were not legal, and they tried to pin it all on you so they would not have to face consequences. This is why they are really crashing out, because the exposure is not just about reputation anymore. Real legal ramifications are on the table, real consequences are approaching, and your ex thought they had set up the perfect fall guy. They thought you would take the blame while they walked away clean. They never expected that someone would find the actual truth. They never expected that someone would care enough to look. They certainly never expected that the person who found out would be someone who actively dislikes them and has no problem making their findings public. The investigator, the person who did all this digging, is being called a hater by your ex and their remaining supporters. And you know what? Maybe they are a hater, maybe they do hate your ex, but that does not make them wrong. Sometimes haters are just people who saw through someone's performance before everyone else did. Sometimes haters are people with standards who refuse to pretend that wrong is right. Sometimes the person everyone calls a hater is simply the first one brave enough to say what others are thinking. Your name is about to be cleared. All those people who looked at you sideways, they are going to know the truth. All those relationships that were damaged because of the lies. There is a chance for restoration. All those moments you spent wondering if maybe you were somehow wrong, if maybe your memory was faulty, if maybe you actually were the bad person they said you were. Those moments of self-doubt can finally end. You were not crazy. You were not wrong. You remembered correctly. And now there is proof. This is bigger than just clearing your name, though. This is about justice finally arriving. This is about someone who thought they could manipulate their way through life, finally hitting a wall they cannot charm their way past. Your ex has been operating on the assumption that they can talk their way out of anything, that tears and performances and victim stories will always work. They have probably been doing this their entire life, getting away with things, making others take the blame, walking away unscathed while chaos burns behind them. But not this time. This time the evidence is too clear. This time the truth is too documented. This time they cannot escape. And here is what I need you to understand about yourself in all of this. The fact that someone out there, someone you do not even know, took it upon themselves to find the truth. That tells you something about the energy you put out into the world. Even when you were being lied about, even when your reputation was being dragged, there was something about the situation that did not sit right with observers. Something about the story your ex was telling did not ring true. And eventually that dissonance led someone to investigate. Your character, even when unseen, spoke louder than the lies being told about it. This person who exposed your ex is not looking for thanks. They are not looking for a relationship with you. They probably will not even reach out. They did what they did because it was right. Because they have a strong sense of justice. Because once they lock onto something that does not add up, they cannot let it go until they find answers. This is simply who they are. And the universe placed them in exactly the right position at exactly the right time to become the instrument of truth in your situation. Your ex is probably trying to figure out damage control right now. They are probably calling everyone they know, trying to get ahead of the narrative, trying to spin yet another story that makes them look innocent. But the thing about evidence is that it does not care about spin. The recordings say what they say, the documents show what they show, and every time your ex opens their mouth to deny it, they just look more guilty. Because innocent people do not refuse to look at evidence. Innocent people do not have meltdowns when confronted with facts. Innocent people want the truth to come out because the truth protects them. Your ex's reaction tells everyone everything they need to know. The group that your ex is part of, whether it is a workplace or a social circle, is watching all of this unfold. Some of them were fooled by your ex. They believed the lies. They maybe even participated in treating you badly based on false information, but now they are seeing the truth. And one of two things is happening with each of these people. Either they are realizing they were wrong about you and feeling regret for how they treated you, or they are doubling down on protecting your ex because admitting the truth would mean admitting their own complicity. Either way, the mask has slipped. Your ex can never go back to the way things were. The image they carefully constructed is shattered. There is something satisfying about watching someone who thrived on chaos finally experience some chaos of their own. Your ex loved stirring up drama. They loved triangulating people against each other. They loved being the center of attention while playing the victim, but they only enjoyed that game when they were winning. Now that they are losing, now that the truth is exposing them, now that consequences are real, they cannot handle it. They are throwing tantrums, they are making threats, they are acting out in ways that make them look even worse, and everyone is watching. The beautiful thing about this season of your life is that you do not have to do anything. You do not have to defend yourself. You do not have to argue with anyone. You do not have to try to convince people of your innocence. Someone else is doing that work. The truth is doing that work. All those years you spent being the bigger person, walking away, not engaging with the drama, not stooping to their level, that was the right call. That preserved your dignity. And now, vindication is coming to you without you having to lift a finger. Your ex is about to learn a lesson that they should have learned a long time ago. Actions have consequences. Lies eventually get exposed. The truth does not stay buried forever. And the people you hurt on your way up are waiting for you on your way down. Every tear they caused you to cry, every sleepless night they put you through, every moment of self-doubt they planted in your mind, all of that is being accounted for now. Not by you, by life itself, by the natural order that eventually balances scales that seemed permanently tipped in favor of wrongdoers. Some of you listening to this have been waiting years for this moment, years of being blamed, years of being doubted, years of people believing lies about you, and in some of your darkest moments you wondered if the truth would ever come out. You wondered if you would spend your whole life being the villain in someone else's false narrative. You wondered if justice even existed. Let me tell you right now, it does. Justice is not always fast. Justice does not always operate on our preferred timeline, but justice is thorough, and justice remembers everything. The person from your past who did this to you made a critical miscalculation. They thought they could control the narrative forever. They thought the people around them would never question the stories they told. They thought their performance was so convincing that no one would ever look behind the curtain, but they forgot that there are people in this world who live for the truth. People who cannot stand watching someone get away with deception. People who will spend their own time and energy proving that a liar is a liar simply because it is the right thing to do. Your ex underestimated those people, and now they are paying for that miscalculation. The money situation is particularly interesting, because when someone lies about financial matters, especially in ways that could have legal implications, the stakes become very real very fast. Your ex was not just spreading casual gossip about you. They were making accusations that could have affected your livelihood, your freedom, your entire future. They were willing to watch you suffer serious consequences for things you did not do. They were willing to let you take the fall for their crimes. That is not a misunderstanding. That is not a difference of perspective. That is calculated cruelty. And now they are facing the possibility of experiencing exactly what they tried to force upon you. What happens next is out of your hands, and that is actually the best possible scenario. You do not need to prosecute this. You do not need to seek revenge. You do not need to do anything except continue living your life and healing from what you went through. The wheels of justice are already turning. The evidence has already been submitted. The truth is already spreading. Your job now is to receive the vindication that is coming your way, and to let go of the weight you have been carrying. Because, chosen one, you have been carrying weight that was never yours to carry. The shame that was placed on you by lies, that was never your shame. The guilt you felt for things you did not do, that was manipulation designed to control you. The isolation you experienced when people turned against you based on false information, that was orchestrated by someone who wanted you alone and powerless, but you survived it, you came through it. And now the truth is revealing that everything they said about you was a projection of who they actually are. This is your season of restoration, not just restoration of reputation, although that is certainly happening, but restoration of peace, restoration of confidence, restoration of the self-worth that was systematically attacked by someone who wanted to destroy you. Every time they told a lie about you, they were trying to kill a part of who you are. Every time they convinced someone that you were untrustworthy, they were trying to isolate you further. Every time they painted you as the villain, they were trying to take away your support system. None of it worked permanently. You are still here, you are still standing, and the truth is finally setting you free. The person who crashed into your ex's carefully constructed world of lies is a reminder that not everyone can be fooled. Some people see through the performance immediately. Some people have a nose for deception that makes them immune to manipulation. Your ex ran into exactly that kind of person. Someone who looked at their victim act and thought, this does not pass the smell test, something is wrong here, and then instead of just shrugging it off, they decided to find out what was actually happening. That decision, that moment of curiosity and integrity is changing everything for you. Let me tell you something else about what is happening right now. The people who believed the lies about you are having a reckoning of their own. They are sitting with the uncomfortable realization that they were fooled. They sided with the wrong person. They participated in your isolation. They maybe even said unkind things about you based on information that was completely fabricated, and now they have to face that. Some of them will reach out to apologize, some of them will be too embarrassed and will simply fade away. Some of them will pretend they never believed the lies in the first place, but all of them know the truth now, and that knowledge changes everything. Your ex had flying monkeys, people who did their dirty work for them, people who spread the lies further, people who added their own embellishments to the false narrative. Those flying monkeys are scattering now. They are distancing themselves from your ex as fast as they can. Nobody wants to be associated with someone who has been exposed as a fraud and a liar. Nobody wants to be seen as the person who helped destroy an innocent person's reputation. The flying monkeys are in self-preservation mode now. They are rewriting their own history. They are claiming they always had doubts. They are acting like they were not just as culpable as your ex in the campaign against you. But here is the thing. You remember who stood with your ex. You remember who spread the lies. You remember who looked at you with contempt based on false information. And while forgiveness is important for your own peace, forgiveness does not mean amnesia. You are allowed to remember who showed you who they really were during your darkest time. You are allowed to keep those people at a distance even after the truth comes out. You are allowed to be selective about who gets access to you going forward. Not everyone who participated in your mistreatment deserves a second chance, and that is perfectly okay. The recording that was found is particularly damaging because it shows your ex in their own words. This is not hearsay. This is not interpretation. This is them actually saying the things they denied ever saying. This is them admitting to behavior they claimed they never engaged in. This is them speaking candidly when they thought no one would ever hear it. And that candid version of them is very different from the polished victim persona they present to the world. The recording shows the real them, the calculating them, the cruel them, the them that exists behind closed doors when they think they are safe. Your ex is terrified right now. Underneath all the blustering and denying and refusing to look at evidence, there is pure terror, because they know what they did. They know the truth. They have always known the truth. They just thought they could keep it hidden forever. They thought they were smarter than everyone else. They thought their manipulation skills were unmatched. And now they are facing the reality that someone saw through them completely. Someone documented their deception. Someone refused to be fooled. And that someone has shared everything with people who have the power to hold them accountable. The financial aspect of this situation cannot be understated. Money crimes are taken very seriously. When there is a paper trail showing fraud or theft or deception involving finances, the consequences are severe. Your ex tried to make it look like you were the one who did these things. They tried to set you up to face these consequences. They were perfectly willing to watch you go to prison for things they did. Let that sink in for a moment. The person who claimed to love you or care about you or be your friend was actively trying to destroy your life. They wanted you to suffer their consequences. They wanted to walk away free while you lost everything. That level of betrayal is almost incomprehensible, and now they are facing exactly what they tried to do to you. There is something called karma that many people talk about, and while the concept can be oversimplified, there is truth to the idea that what you put out into the world comes back to you. Your ex put out lies. Your ex put out betrayal. Your ex put out cruelty disguised as victimhood, and now all of that is returning to them. Not because you wished bad things on them, not because you cursed them or prayed for their downfall, simply because that is how the universe works. Energy returns to its source, and the energy your ex put out was dark and destructive. It had nowhere else to go but back to them. The person who found the truth has given you a gift you may never be able to repay. They have given you your reputation back. They have given you your peace of mind back. They have given you validation that you were not crazy, you were not wrong, you were not the monster you were made out to be. This gift came from someone who did not even know they were giving it to you. They thought they were just exposing a liar. They did not realize they were also setting a prisoner free. You were imprisoned by those lies. You were locked in a cell of public opinion that was built on false testimony. And now the cell door is opening. You can walk out into the light. Do not expect your ex to ever admit the truth to your face. That will probably never happen. People like this do not have the capacity for genuine accountability. Even when caught red-handed, they will find ways to minimize what they did. They will say they were pushed to it. They will say you made them do it. They will say they were in a bad place and were not thinking clearly. They will do anything except look you in the eye and say, I lied about you, I tried to destroy you, and I am sorry. That kind of accountability requires a level of emotional maturity they simply do not possess. Make peace with the fact that you will never get a real apology from them. You do not need it anyway. The truth is enough. The aftermath of this exposure is going to ripple outward for a long time. People who heard the lies will now hear the truth. Conversations will be had. Connections will be reconsidered. Your ex is going to find themselves increasingly isolated as more and more people learn what they really did. The carefully curated social circle they built by playing the victim is going to shrink. People do not want to be associated with exposed liars. People do not want to be seen as gullible for believing someone who turned out to be completely full of garbage. Your ex is about to experience the loneliness they tried to force upon you, and this time they will deserve it. Some of you are wondering if you should feel bad for your ex right now, if maybe this exposure is too harsh, if maybe they did not deserve this level of humiliation. Let me free you from that concern right now. What is happening to your ex is simply the natural consequence of choices they made. Nobody forced them to lie about you. Nobody forced them to create elaborate false narratives. Nobody forced them to try to set you up for crimes they committed. They did all of that with full awareness of what they were doing. They gambled that they would never be caught. They lost that gamble. What is happening now is not cruelty, it is accountability. And accountability is exactly what they need. The divine timing of this revelation is not lost on me. This is happening now for a reason. Maybe you needed to reach a certain point in your healing before you could receive this vindication. Maybe the person who found the evidence needed to be in the right place at the right time. Maybe the universe was waiting for your ex to dig themselves in deep enough that there would be no escape when the truth finally came out. Whatever the reason, this is happening now because now is when it is supposed to happen. Trust that the timing is perfect, even if you do not fully understand why. Your ex has learned nothing from this experience, and they probably never will. People who are capable of the level of deception they engaged in are not typically people who grow and change. They are more likely to become more careful about covering their tracks in the future. They are more likely to blame everyone except themselves for what happened. They are more likely to find new victims to manipulate. This is why the exposure is so important, not because it will change your ex, but because it will warn others about who they really are. Your ex just lost the ability to fool people as easily. Their track record now includes being exposed as a fraud that will follow them. The strength you have shown throughout this entire ordeal is remarkable. Lesser people would have crumbled under the weight of being falsely accused. Lesser people would have given up when it seemed like everyone believed the lies. Lesser people would have become bitter and hateful. But you kept going. You maintained your dignity. You refused to become as low as the person who was trying to destroy you. And now that strength is being rewarded. Not because you were looking for a reward, but because that is how things work for people who stay true to themselves, even when it would be easier to sink to the level of their enemies. There will come a moment, probably soon, when the full weight of what has happened will hit you. The realization that it is actually over. The understanding that you do not have to defend yourself anymore. The comprehension that the lies have been exposed and your name is being cleared. When that moment comes, let yourself feel it fully. Let yourself cry if you need to. Let yourself scream with relief if that is what comes up. Let yourself sit in stunned silence if that is your response. You have been through something traumatic, being lied about, being set up, being painted as a villain when you were actually a victim. That leaves marks on a person. Give yourself permission to process this however you need to. The new chapter of your life that begins after this exposure is going to be different, lighter. You will not be wondering what people are saying about you behind your back. You will not be second-guessing your own memories because someone worked so hard to make you doubt yourself. This new chapter is yours to write however you want. And you get to write it as the person you actually are, not the villain character someone else created. Your ex thought they were writing your story for you. They thought they got to decide how people saw you. They thought their lies would become the permanent record of who you are. They were wrong, dead wrong, because the truth has a way of writing itself into every story eventually. And in your story, the truth just showed up in spectacular fashion. Your ex's chapter in your life is ending. And it is ending with them being exposed for exactly who they really are. There is no sweeter justice than that. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Remember what I told you at the beginning. A storm is brewing, but that storm is not for you. That storm is for the person who tried to destroy you. They are standing directly in its path. They have no shelter. They have no protection. All the lies they built around themselves are being blown away, and when the storm passes, everyone will see them clearly for the first time, stripped of their false narrative, stripped of their victim costume, stripped of every manipulation they ever used to control how people perceived them. What will be left is just them, exposed, accountable, finally facing what they tried to force you to face in their place. The person who found the truth is probably watching all of this unfold with satisfaction. Not malicious satisfaction, but the satisfaction of someone who knew something was wrong and proved it. They trusted their instincts when everyone else was being fooled. They put in the work when it would have been easier to just ignore their suspicions. They stood firm when your ex tried to intimidate them into silence. This person is a rare breed, and while they did not do this for you, you are benefiting from their commitment to truth. Send them gratitude in your spirit, even if you never meet them face to face. Chosen one, I need you to really hear this next part. What happened to you? The lies, the setup, the betrayal, none of it was your fault. You did not bring this upon yourself. You did not somehow deserve it. You were simply in proximity to a very broken, very dangerous person who saw you as a convenient target. They did what they did because of who they are, not because of who you are. Please do not carry any misplaced guilt about this situation. You were a victim of someone else's cruelty, and now you are being vindicated by someone else's integrity. Both of those things happened to you. Neither of them were caused by you. The ripple effects of this exposure are going to continue for weeks, maybe months. New information will surface. More people will learn the truth. Your ex will continue to crash out in various ways as the consequences pile up. You might hear stories about their behavior that shock you. You might learn about lies you did not even know they told. You might discover that the deception went even deeper than you realized. Stay grounded through all of it. Do not let the ongoing revelations pull you back into the chaos of their orbit. Watch from a distance if you must watch at all, but do not get sucked back in. As we bring this to a close, I want you to remember where we started. A storm is brewing. But for the first time in a very long time, that storm is not coming for you. That storm is coming for the person who tried to destroy you. They built their entire identity on lies about you. They convinced others to doubt you. They enjoyed watching you struggle while they played victim. And now everything they built is crumbling. The recordings are out. The evidence is documented. The truth is spreading. And they do not want to hear it, because hearing it means accepting that they were the villain all along. This is what divine justice looks like. Not dramatic lightning bolts from the sky, not immediate punishment the moment someone does wrong, but the slow, inevitable unraveling of every lie until the truth stands alone in the light. Your ex thought they escaped justice. They thought they got away with it. They thought they were clever enough to never be caught. But the universe has a longer memory than any manipulator can account for, and now that memory is being shared with everyone who needs to hear it. Chosen one, your only job right now is to stand in your truth and let the restoration happen. The record is being set straight by forces beyond your control. The lies are being exposed by evidence you did not gather. The consequences are being delivered by systems you did not engage. Everything you hoped would someday come to light is finally coming to light. And the person who tried to destroy you is absolutely, completely, totally crashing out. Let them crash. Let them burn. Let them face every single consequence of every single choice they made to hurt you. That is not your vindictiveness speaking. That is justice operating exactly as it should. They earned this. They created this. They are simply receiving what they put out into the world. And while they crash, you rise. While they burn, you heal. While they face their consequences, you step into your freedom. This is the beautiful balance of a universe that never forgets. The liar is being exposed, the victim is being vindicated, and everything is finally as it should be. You made it through the storm that was meant for you. Now watch the storm that is meant for them. Watch it from a place of peace. Watch it from a place of healing. Watch it knowing that you never have to carry the weight of their lies ever again. Chosen one, you have already risen. Now let yourself